This is a tale of Zara, the warrior princess. Queen Anne strode forward, her presence immediately calming the panicked crowd. What did you see? She asked, her voice steady but urgent. The farmer trembled as he recounted his experience. A shadow faster than the eye could follow, he described. Black as night with eyes like amber fire. 2 of my best cattle, slaughtered. Kofi stepped forward, hand resting on his weapon. Sounds like a leopard, my queen. But larger from his description. From the edge of the gathering, the elder priestess shook her head, concern deepening the lines of her face. Not a leopard, she corrected. The spirits are unsettled. Something has come from the deep forest. Princess Zara, listening from the crowd's edge, felt a strange stirring in her chest, not fear, but something akin to recognition. The following day, as villagers worked nervously near the forest edge, their worst fears materialized. Sudden shouts and screams erupted as a villager pointed toward movement in the tall grass. There. In the tall grass. What emerged stunned even the bravest warriors. A massive black jaguar, its muscles rippling under a sleek coat that seemed to absorb the sunlight, stepped into view. Most shocking were its eyes, gleaming with intelligence and hunger, but something more complex than animal instinct. The jaguar froze momentarily, seeming to lock eyes with the queen in a moment of uncanny connection before disappearing back into the forest's shadows. Princess Zara arrived breathlessly moments later, having rushed from her training upon hearing the commotion. Mother! What was that creature? She asked, sensing that this was no ordinary animal. Queen Anne's expression was troubled as she gazed toward where the jaguar had vanished. A jaguar, but not like any I have seen, she replied. It comes from beyond our lands. The elder priestess approached, her eyes distant as if seeing beyond the physical world. It is an omen, she pronounced. The beast carries a message from the ancestors. That night, as fires burned high to ward off both darkness and fear, the village council gathered. Elders, warriors, and Queen Anne debated the meaning of the jaguar's appearance and how to address the threat. 3 more cattle taken today, an elder reported grimly. And Bomani's youngest son was nearly seized. Kofi's voice was firm as he advocated for action. We should hunt the beast and end this threat before it grows bolder. The elder priestess shook her head, beads clicking softly in her headdress. The jaguar is no ordinary animal. There is ancient magic at work here. Queen Anne listened to all perspectives before speaking. We will increase patrols and protect our people, she decided, but I sense there is more to this beast than hunger for our livestock. From the shadows where she stood listening, Princess Zara felt certainty growing within her. This was the challenge she had been waiting for. Not just to prove herself as a warrior, but to understand a mystery that seemed somehow connected to her destiny. Later that night, as the kingdom slept under the watchful eyes of doubled guards, Princess Zara prepared her weapons and supplies in her chambers. She selected her favorite spear, a knife gifted to her on her last birthday, and the protective amulet her mother had given her at birth. If I am to be a protector like my mother, she whispered to herself, I must act, not wait. Moving silently through shadows, Zara slipped past the royal compound's outer walls. The ancient forest beyond the village was said to be home to spirits and creatures of legend. Moonlight filtered through dense leaves, creating patterns that shifted like living things. Few ventured deep into the forest's heart, especially under moonlight, but Princess Zara moved with purpose, tracking signs of the jaguar's passage. Remember Mother's teachings, she whispered to herself. Feel the forest. Listen to what it tells you. Kneeling beside massive paw prints pressed into soft earth, Zara noticed an irregularity. The right front print was less deeply impressed than the others, and occasionally dragged slightly. You're injured, she realized aloud. That's why you hunt our cattle. You cannot chase faster prey. As the words left her lips, Zara became keenly aware of being watched. Rising slowly, hand gripping her spear, she scanned the shadows surrounding her. In a clearing bathed in moonlight, where ancient trees formed a circle as if marking sacred ground, Princess Zara finally confronted the creature that had brought fear to her people. The jaguar emerged from shadow, its limp more pronounced now that she knew to look for it, yet still radiating power and wild majesty as it circled her cautiously. "I am Princess Zara of Azania," she announced, raising her spear defensively. "I have come to protect my people." The jaguar growled, its eyes glowing with an almost supernatural light in the moonbeams. It continued its circling, maintaining distance while studying her with unsettling intelligence. "You're hurt," Zara said more softly. "That's why you hunt our cattle, isn't it?" The jaguar's muscles tensed suddenly, and it lunged toward her with frightening speed. Zara reacted with the instincts honed through years of training, evading the initial attack while defending herself with controlled movements. She used her spear not to kill but to guide the beast's movements, demonstrating exceptional skill as she sought to subdue without destroying. After an intense struggle that tested every aspect of her training, Zara managed to trap the jaguar momentarily, her spear pinning something around its neck to the ground. Looking closer, she was shocked to discover an ornamental collar partially hidden by the jaguar's fur. "You belong to someone," she realized aloud. "You're not wild." At this recognition, the jaguar ceased struggling, regarding her with eyes that now seemed to convey something beyond animal instinct. Slowly, Zara removed her spear and knelt before the massive creature. Something passed between them in that moment, an understanding older than words, a connection that transcended the boundaries between human and beast. "You're far from home, aren't you?" she asked gently. Like a spirit lost between worlds. Reaching for her water pouch, Zara poured some into her cupped palm. "I won't hurt you," she promised. "And I won't let anyone else hurt you either." The jaguar hesitated, then cautiously approached to drink from her offered hand. Trust, fragile as morning mist, began to form between them. Examining the jaguar's injured paw more closely, Zara discovered a large thorn embedded deeply in the pad. With gentle but firm movements, she removed it, understanding now why the magnificent creature had been driven to hunt easier prey. "This is why you couldn't hunt properly," she murmured. The jaguar licked its freshly treated paw, then looked at Zara with changed eyes, still wild, still powerful, but somehow connecting with her on a level that transcended their differences. As dawn broke over Azania, painting the sky with stripes of gold and amber, the village stirred to life only to freeze in collective astonishment. Walking confidently toward the village was Princess Zara, and beside her, without leash or restraint, padded the massive black jaguar that had terrorized them for days. Villagers gasped and pointed, some backing away in fear while others stood transfixed by the sight. Kofi rushed forward, weapon ready to defend the princess he believed in danger. "Princess! Get away from it," he shouted, preparing to attack. Zara raised her hand commandingly. "No, Kofi. He is not our enemy. He was injured and afraid." Queen Anne emerged from the gathered crowd, her expression a complex mixture of anger at her daughter's disobedience and amazement at what she was witnessing. "Zara! What have you done?" she demanded. Standing tall beside her unlikely companion, Zara met her mother's gaze directly. "What you taught me to do, mother," she replied with quiet confidence. "I protected our people by understanding, not destroying." The jaguar sat calmly beside Zara, its regal bearing and power undimmed yet somehow harmonized with human presence. Later, in the royal compound's courtyard, the elder priestess examined the mysterious collar around the jaguar's neck. Her aged fingers traced symbols and markings with growing wonder. "These are the royal markings of the Ambani kingdom," she announced, her voice hushed with awe. "Far beyond the western mountains. A kingdom we believed destroyed a generation ago." Queen Anne could not hide her shock. The Ambani survive? Their sacred protectors were the shadow cats. Zara knelt beside the jaguar, who had remained remarkably calm throughout the examination. "He must have journeyed far seeking help," she suggested. "Perhaps others of his kingdom still live." As if understanding her words, the jaguar rose and moved deliberately to a large map etched into the courtyard floor. With purposeful movements, it placed its paw on a specific location, causing gasps among those watching. "The beast understands," Kofi exclaimed, his earlier suspicion transforming to wonder. Queen Anne approached her daughter, newfound respect in her eyes. "You have not just tamed a beast, my daughter," she said. "You may have discovered allies we never knew existed." In the royal throne room, before the assembled court of Azania, Queen Anne made a proclamation that would set a new course for the kingdom and for her daughter's destiny. "My daughter has shown courage and wisdom beyond her years," she declared. "The jaguar she has named Keto will remain under her protection as a symbol of the bridge between our world and the wild." Princess Zara stood proudly beside her mother's throne, the jaguar seated regally at her side as if it had always belonged there. "And when the moon is full again," Queen Anne continued, "Princess Zara will lead our expedition to find the lost kingdom of Ambani, to forge new bonds of friendship and alliance." Excitement and determination shone in Zara's eyes as she contemplated this first true mission, not as a princess in training, but as a warrior in her own right. She gazed down at her unexpected companion. "We have much to learn from each other, don't we?" she asked softly. The jaguar rumbled a sound almost like agreement, its amber eyes reflecting her own resolution. What Princess Zara could not yet know was that her journey with the jaguar was merely beginning. Greater challenges awaited beyond the familiar borders of Azania, and secrets of her own lineage. Truths hidden even from Queen Amara herself, would soon be revealed. For this was only the first chapter in the legend of Zara, the warrior princess of Azania, whose name would one day be spoken with reverence from the eastern seas to the western mountains, and whose courage would change the fate of kingdoms. Subscribe and watch out for Part 3.